All right. A little something special for the WGGGMBUCC. It's a lyrical sculpture in the sand that I carve. This is Flash on the mic, now on the Algarve. From 40 to 60, we are on the attack. If I can just get some vitamin I from my back foot on the line, yeah, I'm ready to go. Or did I just pull a muscle? Hold on for a moment. Play it cool, just act like I'm young. Got flicks on my wrist and lyrics on my tongue. 20 more, 10 more years left to go. Tricks from the past and a buttery flow. A little slow off the start, I like to call my speed brisk. The sunshine glints off my slow-moving disc. You know how it goes with the sand between my toes. I got none of the pivots, but all the throws. Yeah, I got some dodgy knees. Disc in my hand and the sun in the sky. My dad bod goes jiggle and my hucks they fly. The spirits are rising like a disc on the breeze, going miles out of bounds to the Portuguese seas. I played a point, yeah, I need a sub and a good long soak in an XL tub. Don't need to run anymore, I'm one of 14 handlers. Happy Gilmore this disc like we're all Adam Sandlers. I'm slow off the start, I like to call it brisk. The sunshine glints on my slow-moving disc. You know how it goes with the sand between my toes. We got none of the pivots, but all the throws. Alright, let's finish this off. My 6'2" still works in the bar. I can see from miles. Got drinks on my radar. Portimao party is the place we flee for the friends we see and these great memories. Yeah, I feel the spirit as I pull every sinew. Shatter my knees, yet we're gonna continue. Take this hand, better yet carry me from the beach to the bar, better yet to the sea. I'm slow off the start. I like to call my speed brisk. The sunshine glints off my slow-moving disc. You know how it goes with the sand between our toes. We got none of the pivots, but all of the throws.
Welcome back to Sardinia for the Great Grandmasters Beach World Ultimate Club Championships. I'm sure I've got the letters mixed up in their order there, but got the
you got them all in.
Got the division correctly. We have a second round of games for these teams where we have Uncle John's band against solid either gold or solid G old. I'm not sure which way they prefer it to be said, but the G is small and the OLD is capital letters, so both these teams fared a little bit differently in their last games. I'm John Dock. We got Steph Rapazzo here with me for this one, and looking forward to seeing both these teams and our first full streamed game of the day from start to finish, hopefully.
Nice pull, but just beyond perfect. Went out the back corner. Yeah, Doc, solid gold all the way from Canada, and Uncle John's band, a name of a Grateful Dead song that I love, coming all the way from the Courier Islands, if you can believe it.
Yeah, it's if you told me where that was, I'd have as much trouble as I did finding Sardinia when I was trying to guess where it was. So I think you might be looking a bit longer for Courier Islands, though. Good first pass there. These conditions are really tough to throw in, so the wind's picked up. So we're going to find out pretty early how these teams can deal with the conditions, and Uncle John's band got the first job of trying to play this upwind. Seems like they're being pushed a little bit deep here by the downfield defenders, so they're going to be fighting for those unders, but doing a good job so far. Stuck on the tough sideline now. That's the hard sideline. The wind is blowing towards that sideline from the near one now, but doing well with it here in front of the disc, have their end zone set up. Tight defensive pressure on the marks as well. Shoots it up, it's going to drift, it's going to stay in bounds. Just out of reach. That was unfortunate. They did well up until that point.
That was out of the hands of Matthew Allen Bulow. I love Uncle John's band's jerseys, but practically transparent numbers. They were given royal assent by Sophia and approved so that they could have the beautiful tie-dye design. I love the shirts.
Yeah, I think maybe the numbers guy had whatever the guy doing the design must have had. I think we can get away with those compliments or those statements here at this division. Very colourful and creative.
Yeah, psychedelic.
Gold with a shot deep here, player wide open.
Ooh.
Just unable to get it. I thought he looked like he was going to run it down, but that wind I think just picked it up a bit near the end, and like we said in the last game, solid goal with a big win, and Uncle John's band on the receiving end of a big defeat. So
Owen Lumley trying to chase that one down. The throw from Seaton. Seaton Siebert. One of the first players who I ever met in the sport, Doc, at Guelph University on Johnson Green. He was playing with Ottawa Phoenix. I think Lumley, one of his teammates from back then. So they're reconnecting here on the Sardinian beaches.
Uncle John Band here now with a second chance. This one going to be a little bit tougher. They're starting a little bit deeper this time, but last time they looked pretty good working it up, so let's see if they can do the same here again. But again, they're kind of just stuck in that tough corner and forced to shoot it, and offensive player reacts first, holds on to it. Potential deep shot here, he puts it. Teammate looks like he's going to be able to jump it in, and he gets the jump in. I'm not sure, I thought maybe his foot was down first, but they're going to get it, and they get the upwind hold to start, which if you looked at the previous score lines in these games, you might have thought that might not be the case.
Yeah, Uncle John's band playing up. They tough division with Solid Gold, who are touted to be a top team in this division. Also Rundown in the division. And Rundown did give a good rundown to Uncle John's band in the first game. Solid Gold took a 5-point win over Blue Zone. It's a close first half before they pulled away. And so, yeah, you would expect that Solid Gold will be able to take this one. But Uncle John's band coming out swinging. Take the first point. Back and forth it goes. A missed huck one way, and they send it all the way back.
Yeah, I think I have to slightly root for Uncle John's band in this one. I've actually played against them and coached against them when I was involved with a under-20s junior team, and without making it sound like I did anything terrible, there was some bands involved in future years with players on a team, and that junior team decided to enter a tournament and call themselves Uncle John's Band as a tribute, and then went on to win the tournament. So,
right. So you're saying band is spelled differently?
Yeah, the kind of the band that you usually get for, hey, you shouldn't be doing this.
B-A-N-N-E-D, I gotcha. Uncle John, and I guess that's you, Doc.
Yeah,
Uncle
it was
John.
quickly overturned though, so all good. before people start making crazy accusations.
I'm just helping him. I'm putting some wind in the sails.
We get the turnover here. Uncle John's band with the chance to get the first break. Now the upwind score, maybe I wouldn't have called first, but to follow it up with a break, maybe it jinxed them a bit, but. Again, it's Solid Gold here. It's not gonna be easy to score this upwind.
We get looks like the catch is made. That could be a hip there, slipped hip.
No stoppage, just taking his time getting up. and true, don't know if.
A very telegraphed backhand and a foul called on the. I do think it was a foul. It was still in his hand.
It's just an enjoyable 15 seconds of play there where he's down. He's just like, I'm great grandmaster. I'm taking my time getting up, and then I'm going to call that. Rather than he wasn't even stalled when he was on the ground, which I thought was nice by the other guy.
Another turnover there. Shoot just a little too far. Uncle John's band. Another chance to break, Doc.
Yeah. I think it might say more about the teams they've played based on what we've seen so far rather than the ability of these teams, because looks like the Uncle John's band is the team that came out with the big win in the last one, but maybe the big loss was the reason they locked in and had to refocus, knowing, hey, we can't play like that, we're capable of more, and just overthrows there, the right option, tough in these conditions.
Yeah, that wind is pushing that to go outside in. You want that curve back, you got to throw it a little faster and probably a little higher. Threatens getting it dragged further out, but higher with some angle, blade it a little bit to make sure that comes down instead of trying to float your way back to center. So
if you're going to turn, I think this corner here is the best place to turn it for that reason.
Another turn.
I am unsure if he got those feet up, or that was a very acrobatic play there for the Great Grandmasters division. To me, it actually looked like he might have got the job done, but I thought maybe he might have jumped out of bounds on the far sideline. But I think we might be waiting a couple of seconds for this one to get resolved, because I can't tell from here.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I think the claim is that his hands touched the ground first when he went horizontal and not his feet.
Yeah, they're still discussing anyway. It was very close, so I think depends what their discussion is.
And that's you get any clarity there, Doug?
I couldn't
we're watching the replay, maybe not at the same time as you.
I didn't catch it the first time there, but
it's very, very close.
Yeah, they're still discussing it, so
I'd say inconclusive, so don't give it is how I would go it.
Yeah, a bit of me is wondering if they're also debating whether he might have actually landed out of bounds as well. So again, no idea what the actual discussion is, whether he was not in, whether he's out of bounds. But got our volunteer here blowing his whistle, letting them know, hey, I think we can all agree when it takes this long, it should just be maybe a contest. As much as I'm sure these players would like to have a little bit of a break, I think it's early in the game.
This would be a huge break.
And half the time it's gone in the game with the length of the call as well. The push pass.
Oh! A cheeky throw over top, Doc.
I think I'm going to say, based on that, I'm going to say he was probably in the first time too, because you have to have pretty high level of confidence to throw that push pass there, and after that long discussion, and he makes the right job, and that's 2-0 to Uncle John's band. And don't know if we want to call it an upset in the second round, but if, like we said, looking at the first round of scores, this was probably a very unexpected start.
Yeah, definitely an unexpected start, but exciting one. It makes for a better contest overall when the underdog does come out and take, a hold of a lead is one thing, but a hold in the break straight away certainly shifts the pressure right now for Solid Gold, this team of Canadian vets. A lot of talent over there. Talking to even Soph and Patrick, the coordinators, they were like, yeah, a lot of people are talking about them damn Powers, who has captained his own team here for a long time. They didn't get in, so he's shifted over. Team USA Beach, he's represented medals in grass and beach. 5 silvers, 10 golds over his career, and he's joined the ranks of these Canadians.
Yeah, and I think this one is a pretty big one for Solid Gold. I think if they're gonna want to score this one and maybe get themselves back into the swing of how they maybe were playing in the last game, but they've doing a good job so far, and I think that's maybe what I was expecting to see more of them. That was a very clinical downwind point, all open side, solid cuts and throws. So I think that's maybe a bit more what I expected, and maybe they also saw the score lines from the first game and thought maybe they might have an easier start than they actually did. But both teams on the scoreboard now.
1-2. Solid gOLD, we'll say, do get their first one. Susan Wavrock, or Susie Q as the back of the jersey says, gets the assist there, and I thought was really open to be put in a position to throw that assist. So gets it on, gets the stat as a thrower, but I really thought gave herself that opportunity with her legs and running. Got nice and open, and now it'll be Solid Gold's turn to see if they can break back and put this one back on serve.
Yeah, it feels like another kind of biggish point here. Now we're going to see what the Solid G defense is going to come out with here. Again, the last game flew pretty quick, so you don't really get a chance to start too slow in these games. So Uncle John's band as well, though. Solid, good start here. Third time of asking, unable to hold on to it. A good effort, but upwind chance here now for Solid gOLD. And that was a nice throw up line there in those conditions, and they get the break back nice and easy. And let's see if that's maybe what we can maybe start to expect a bit more for the rest of the game. But Uncle John's band so far just a bit unfortunate with that one. Have looked good.
Yeah, Lumley to Siebert to Carlton there. Very quick and decisive once they got the disc back. They get lucky to get the turnover. The bobble drop, but once they had it, that there was, don't blink or you'll miss it kind of transition offense. Rose Carlton, the 56-year-old, 30 years playing experience. Awesome offensive handler out of Montreal, Quebec. A McGill University player back in the day. Great to see her still doing it here.
It's funny, when I was doing EYUC a couple of weeks ago, I was saying, wow, some of these players are almost the same age as how long I'm playing Ultimate, and now I'm here at the opposite end where I'm like, some of these players are almost playing as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
from the
some
other
of them,
side of the looking glass.
Yeah. So we said in the last one, it's a nice sign of things we can look forward to as Ultimate players. Like I said, coming here, if I'm coming here when I'm 60, I think I'm doing okay in life.
Yeah, these people are doing okay in life. Fit enough to be running around still. Able enough to be able to, find some time off and have the resources to enjoy themselves here on the beach in Sardinia.
Enjoy everything about this tournament, the playing, the festivities. I'm sure they're seasoned in many areas, a lot of these players.
So that pole went out of bounds, and the slow walk bringing it back in here.
Yeah, probably needed as well. They probably realized 2 quick scores for a row for solid gOLD, so John's band probably happy just to have a bit of a, won't call it a timeout, but it feels like it's almost been a timeout with how long this point took to get going again. So big point for them here. If they can score this one, I can think they're back in it, but if they concede here, you could say the momentum has definitely shifted. And a good pressure here by the solid G defense.
Woo!
A big bid. Solid G here looking for the second break in a row after a massive block. And their offense is looking good. Just again, I think those first 2 points may be blips. Forced flick from the Uncle John's band, trying to get him onto that trap sideline, but the inside breaks and the follow-up just moving it really quickly and efficiently, and just the final pass just kind of goes out of the players' hands. They made it look so easy until that last one, and Uncle John's brand going to get another chance here to try and score that 0 point, but solid gOLD there on offense, or their D-line offense looking really, really solid there. Another chance for the Uncle John's band here. Nice cut to get free on that near sideline. And just through the legs, I believe. Solid gOLD going to get another chance here. Try to get their second break in a row. Just a case of just one of us had a bit more speed there as he gets free in that front corner. The defender just then able to keep up with it, and see some of the Uncle John band players there. They got their hands on their knees, taking some deep breaths of air after that point.
On the haunches for Uncle John's band, but solid gOLD are picking things up. Hisham Lawan was awesome on that point. The layout D they did end up giving it back, but I love the D. But then his throws really opening things up as well. 20 years plus out of Montreal, and still doing it from his days with Mephisto to Tombstone, NSOM, and here with solid gOLD. Making a display. Here's the block again.
Yeah, I think a small bit of it was the offensive player maybe slowed down a little bit, or I'm not sure if he's actually stationary at the time when it was thrown, but and we're got solid gOLD here looking, and again looking for their third break opportunity in a row now, and said there's been 1 or 2 somewhat crucial points so far. I feel like this one is one of them if we want to keep this game close. Well, Uncle John's band working it down here and looking a bit better than some of their last passages of play, and they get that one. They just get the overload at the front corner and they slot that one in, much needed. And yeah, back on the 3-3. I believe we started with they were on defense, so they have to get the break back now because they're coming out on a defensive point here, but up a break, but the scores are level essentially. Is a solid goal to up.
But you're right, that was, I do think, a crucial response there. To, you know, stem the flow after a response by solid gold.
I think we're being told it's potentially 4-3. I'm not sure. I think we had it right at 3-3, but
yeah, it's level.
And the wind again, I just kind of picked up a little bit of sand there to check it. It's tough. It's tough to score into that upwind end zone now. You can see we're looking. There's one little flag blowing in the background, and maybe it's not so easy to see, but it gives you an idea how windy it is. Maybe if you see some of those ships in the background rocking a little bit, you can see the masts. I'm not sure if that's the right word for the ships, but the big poles going up. I think they're called masts. So you can see those rocking here. We got some 1 or 2 pirate-looking ships in the distance, no sails up, but just a really nice venue to just look and say you're here for a week. It's just a nice feeling. As we get back underway here now with solid gOLD. Haven't been out on offense for a little bit. Going to see if they can continue the good passages of play they've been showing recently.
I mean, Seaton Siebert here, he's got the disc, I've had him isolated. He's running circles around his defender. He's been open 3 or 4 times right now.
Yeah, that inside break, just such a nice throw. I was pausing once or twice. I was expecting 1 or 2 of those to come earlier, and I was waiting to say it, and then finally they let it go there, and that one, not an easy throw in these conditions. Zipped in and well held by the receiver to get that hold, and 4-3, solid gOLD now.
Nice throw there by Raja Kapadia. That inside break was scintillating. Doc was waiting for it. I think I thought there was a little bit of traffic overlap, but he saw the seam better than I did.
Yeah, I think he was looking for it. There was a couple of times where I was expecting the inside break throw to come. I was waiting, and then I was, it's not there. And just a couple of dumps, and eventually they got it off. And I think you could see there with that final throw why it was being looked for, because that was one of the nicer throws we've seen so far. Get another downwind point here for Uncle John's band. Seems these teams have really done their research. It's rare you hear the team starting on offense saying what to expect from a defensive player coming down to guard them. So we're hearing, that's what I'm hearing from the Uncle John's band line here. So I do feel like this one took quite a while to get going, but we're back underway here. That's a good pull.
Great pull. Interesting fielding of that pull.
Holds on to it with half with his hands, half with his face. Deep shot was maybe on, but decides not to throw it. Chose a high release flick instead. I thought maybe at the start of the point it looked like they wanted to get more people back into the handler space and isolate the downfield cutters, but I think they're just determined to throw high release flicks instead. You're going to see another one here, no? Oh, just the normal one this time, but Uncle John's band here looking solid again, looking good. Front of the end zone. We're going to see another high release push pass here, not this time. Centers it back, or sends it backwards. Oh, he just got a little too carried away. I think he was watching too much of his teammate with all those fancy throws and just threw it into the defenders, and I know he'd want that one back.
Would he ever? He Shardlow it.
And he gets it back.
Wow. Straight back.
Good job. And the player just loses their foot slightly as the disc also just gets taken away from them by the wind. Basically everything working against the receiver trying to hold on to that one there. It was actually a good effort to even reach to it, but another turnover, and the wind is, again, maybe it's been the same for a while, but we've got our tent beside us and one of the side flaps just blowing like crazy. I don't envy the position that the offensive player is walking into here. This is coffin corner, as you'd often call it, on the grass field, and even here on this one, smaller fields, but I don't think too many players are going to be reaching the end zone in these conditions in one throw.
It would take a heck of a jack, and they miss again, Doc.
Another chance for Uncle John's band here. I think they're going to need to maybe take this one. They're only going to get so many chances against this solid G, because we've seen them get multiple breaks already before. And I feel I think Uncle John's band just a little bit. I feel there's a bit more speed on the solid G old team, and I think that's maybe why they're finding it a little bit harder to get free. The solid G old team happy to poach a bit as well and give some opportunities. Seems like there's a pick called. None of the players on the field seem to be saying it or signaling it, so not sure where it came. Back underway here now.
Whoa!
Oh, through the legs, through the legs of her, not a receiver, because I don't think that was the intended target, but I think if that disc hasn't flown through the legs, maybe the other receiver actually could potentially gone for the layout bid. That we had a great angle of that here.
That was wild.
It's like, if that was a defender running and that was caught for a score, that would be on loop.
Huh. Unbelievable stuff. Solid gold. Another chance to put it upfield, but starting from this very difficult corner.
Yeah, I think maybe if they can get it onto this near side and just, again, don't want to say just put the 50-50s, but maybe that's what they need to do, as there's a turn here. The throw goes up and comes back over the head of the player. And recently someone told me you're actually able to mac those there. I used to think you weren't even allowed to touch your own throws, but apparently you can mac them, which is to me it feels a bit weird that you could do that. But
keep it alive.
Yeah, but I guess it adds an extra element of fun to the game. And they finally get it done. I believe it was at the 5th time of asking. They get that slightly downwind one, and that was a long one, and that was their O-line out there. Had to play, I wouldn't say a lot of defense because they were getting it back relatively quickly, but their O-line was out there for a while.
We also heard the halftime whistle there, so I think it was a Galaxy point, because that ties things up. So next point takes half.
Yeah, big opportunity here. So for Uncle John's band to try and snatch one near the end there, and with the solid G O-line has, other than that one first point of the game, their O-line has looked like it's not going to be troubled too much. So if you were to say, based on what you've seen the rest of the game so far, I'd imagine this might be a quick score, but we'll see if they come out with their power lines here, if teams are going to go for it. Can't claim to have the knowledge to know which teams, which players here are the power lines, maybe.
I'd say most of these teams are just getting regular switching in, especially on day one here. But who am I to really know their tactics?
I think if you were going to go for it, it's the Uncle John's band would be the one maybe putting it on here, because this would be a big break, and they're going to get their chance from a pretty decent position here. They only have about half the field to go. I'm sure they maybe one or two good throws here they could get.
It's gonna work, Doc.
That's one of them. I'm not gonna that's in these conditions. It's not a bad throw.
Yeah, they cut through the wind. It went upfield.
And they're going to give it all back by doing a couple of backwards passes, and I still feel this is one throw to the end zone range. does go for it, but it doesn't work out. Wind takes away from the intended receiver.
And Powers got the intercept, and how did Suzanne Wavrock stayed under it?
Bit of fortune for solid gOLD there, and now they're going to take the deep shot, I imagine, here. Deep shot does go up. Defender runs it down and gets the block. You could see him looking for that throw. Maybe if he had thrown in it when he first looked for the bit more spin, it might have got there. But again, these conditions here are testings. I would have a tough time here throwing in these conditions, so I'm not going to be too critical of how much spin they're putting on the disc and these, and on the beach with the wind changing so much as well. It's hard to get a read on it sometimes.
Coffin corner for the hippies in the tie-dyes.
Tougher spot here, but get the first throw off. Unable to get the second one. And you gotta get the feeling solid gOLD are going to be slotting this one in. And the player just loses their feet again and has to reach for the disc. And another chance for Uncle John's band at this one. That one was very fortunate. There's been a couple. There's always going to be some lucky or unlucky ones there, but that one was very fortunate for them.
Yeah, very much so. Squandered opportunity for solid gOLD. The throw was on. Everything was there. Just, couldn't get the last catch. And that went out of bounds. I thought there was a little bit of a chance at first, and there was maybe not being pursued with full intensity, but it was out of bounds.
Yeah, technically a very nice throw in these conditions. If that had been in bounds, it would have been, I would say, the second best throw I've seen today. They just, and solid G not going to mess around anymore. One shot to the end zone. I believe that's half now.
Yeah, it is half, and Suzanne Wavrock, she's the player of the game by my estimation right now. Can't put a foot wrong. Every time she gets the disc, she drops a dime, puts it on the mark, and that's enough for solid gOLD to go up only by one to take half. That's the surprising part.
Yeah, so I think we're going to go to half here now, and we'll be back shortly for the second half of this game.
I worked for a Michelin star chef making gelato in Paris. I had my own restaurant in Nicaragua and a food truck in Australia. Why wouldn't you watch me? Check out my YouTube channel.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Oh my goodness, that is unbelievable. And traded the net and made good.
That was absolutely incredible.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my God! Somehow they do it!
And welcome back here now to the second half of solid gOLD and Uncle John's band here in sunny Sardinia. Sunny and windy Sardinia at the World Great Grand Masters Beach Ultimate Club Championships. I think I got it right that time, I don't know, but there's a lot of letters. I remember when I think I first saw this tournament being advertised, it was just people joking about what they were just going to call it, and they decided just to go with all the letters, and makes sense. And given it's the mixed division, they actually could add it in a, well, I think they have officially they say it's open, but it's played as mixed. It's always I believe
Loose mixed.
three male matching players and 2 female matching players every point. So they could have added in an extra letter if they wanted, but they decided that about 15 was enough. So, but Uncle John's band here started at a good start, but Solid gOLD took the lead, took half. Both these teams had very different results in the first game. I think we were expecting a more one-sided game here, where we maybe thought Solid gOLD might take this one a bit sooner and we might get an early lunch, but luckily for us, potentially, and the viewers at home, it's I'm never going to complain too much about a good close game, so let's hope for the same in the second half. As we get back underway here, Uncle John's band on defense, and they get the turn early, a chance to get back on, not back on serve, but get back level here. They find that gap and got a player at the front of the end zone, and he puts it in, and that's how you want to start. I know it is the downwind, but they can't win the game unless they score the downwind first and then get their upwind break chances. So they've done the first part, and now they got to come out and try to do the second part here against the Solid O-line that's looked pretty good, bar 1 or 2 turnovers.
Yeah, the great equalizer. I mean, we talked about their first game results. That's out the window once this wind flares up like this, particularly when the wind flares up and it's really right to left on your screen. Like, it's flowing more or less the same way as the sidelines, a little bit of diagonal nature, but these upwind throws are getting very, very difficult. Solid gOLD first throw was that, maybe second, not even going for too much. These are the kind of conditions that have captains and coaches starting to wonder about the Huck and D kind of strategy. Certainly in a Great Grand Masters division where you've got enough players that should theoretically have the upwind, Hucks should have those throws. Not a bad way to just punt your way out of that corner. Don't make a mistake and give an easy scoring opportunity to your opposition and give them like a 10 meter or less downwind. Get it the heck out of there, and that is something that they should at this stage of the game be considering.
Yeah, and I would say even there, based on that pull, you could see that pull just about reach the end zone, and gives you the idea that if a player does get a little bit of space, there's the potential to reach the end zone from anywhere, maybe beyond their brick mark with one throw. So it might just be a case of if you see even a bit of a gap, it's probably worth going for it. And if your receivers are aware of it, or even if they're hanging out a little bit deep, might not be the worst strategy, as we see a very dramatic brick mark being drawn here in the sand.
Expect the drama from Chris Dainart.
Solid gOLD here now going to get another chance. A lot of aggressive throws and fakes there, and overthrows 2 players. It was probably in the only spot where neither of those players could get it, but both of them thought they had a chance. And like we said, they did the easy part, and now they have to do the hard, and I would say very hard part from this part of the field.
Yes, Sasha! Yes, Sasha! Nice.
Almost just out of the hands of going to get another chance here for Solid G. And another chance for Uncle John's band. And again, these conditions just make it tough, and the sand, and there's a lot of factors here why make it difficult to complete some of the passes here, but the main one I think just has to be the wind.
Yeah, I mean, that is by far the principal element that is slowing down scoring opportunities. Defense is, it's an 8th defender for both sides, and another one turned over right in front of the end zone.
And they slotted in quickly, bit of a bump in the back there, but saw gOLD get the job done. And again, Uncle John's band, they did the first and the second part. They just need to be able to do the third one next, where they score their offensive point, then they get a turn with the D-line, but just scoring in these conditions. And I can't tell the number of the Uncle John's band player but I thought in the first point we'll say black hat. I'll see the number eventually. The player with the black hat looked very confident throwing in these conditions. I think she's even looking at the back of her jersey here. I unfortunately can't give her a shout out, but she's looked like one of the main players on the team that looks like she's going to be able to get something going offensively upfield. But if she gets closer, we'll try and give her a shout out for her number and name, because every time she has it, she looks like she's confident enough at throwing in the wind. At the start of the point when they started to play, when Uncle John's band looked good, she was on the offensive. So I think that's going to be one of their female matching players they're going to want playing upwind.
Well, who we can shout out is Sasha Lutfi, the goal scorer there. The 47-year-old. Wait, is that younger than?
For the women, it's 45, I believe.
That's a male matching player, Sasha Lutfi. So he must be 48 in this calendar year.
Yeah, that's. I think that's how it goes. Well, in the calendar year, so you can still play at 47 and 44, I believe. I think that I would imagine that makes sense. We don't want to out someone on this. Even if you told them they couldn't play for the rest of the week, it's not the worst place to get such bad news. But
youngster out there scoring goals. That one knocked down by Mickael. Well, we heard the echo that there was a foul called there. Dan Powers was trying to do his best Ethan Morrell impression, squirming around the mark.
Back underway now, and first break chance in a while for Solid gOLD, but again, just foul called somewhere. It did seem a bit uncharacteristic the way that turn happened, and maybe deserved turn the first time around, but the wind just takes that one. Tries to flick the open side first, then tries it to the backhand side as we see someone's cowboy hat blown across the field there, and
runaway hat, slowing things down.
Covers it with a handful of sand.
It's a free hat now, nobody's claiming it, so
it's just getting
anybody wants a hat.
It's just getting buried under the sand by the players.
It's there for the taking.
And Uncle John's band here now, chance at the downwind. Tough conditions. Even playing downwind in these conditions is tough. It's not necessarily the worst idea to consider just putting it first chance you get, but they're showing they're capable here. This is good play. They've shown it many times. I think maybe we just needed to see the last game, because it's hard to see how they lost that last game so much when you see some of the play they're capable of doing here. And another push pass. Don't know if that man knows how to throw a normal flick, but he just wants to throw push passes, and this one showing a little behind, but not the worst place to turn. And Solid gOLD with a chance to get a break here, and it feels like a big one. I feel if Solid gOLD get the next break here, it's very, very emphatic in terms of the momentum of the game, but
certainly if they get the upwind.
And they're working their way towards it. Happy to go backwards. And again, I think just the Uncle John's band defense, it's always tough on the beach to keep up. A nice shot deep. I think it's going to drift away from the receiver though. It does, but I like the idea. He just needs to put a little more inside out in that to get it to hang there. But when you see a player that free, that close to the end zone, you're playing upwind, it's almost crazy to not throw it. So
Matt Mickael sent the throw, trying to sight Kristen Kerbach.
Again, they're going to get another chance with this one here, and I think this is the spot where if you have a receiver, it looks like they're going to call the timeout, but I think this is a spot where maybe you want to try and run a set play and get a deep shot going relatively early in the first couple of passes when they come back in here. But I think we're going to have a little momentary break here. Both teams maybe realize this will be a big point. Whoever scores this one, it could come close to deciding the game for Solid gOLD, but Uncle John's band also realized the same and probably realized we need a timeout and come back after a little break.
Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable.
I'm Steph Pazzo, and I must eat.
Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater.
On my ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe,
Oh, wow.
guided by some of your favorite ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of.
Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
Go find Steph Pazzo on YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
We're back underway here. We just missed the first part after timeout, but we didn't miss the block. And Uncle John's band there unable to capitalize on that well organized end zone, from their own end zone play to get this going. But solid goal here, going to have another chance to try and get that upwind break. And I think if they get this one, it's pretty decisive in terms of who's going to go on and win this one. It's a big point here. Fingertips away. It feels like, especially with Uncle John's band losing their first game, it feels like this is a very big game for them here. It is against possibly one of the top, higher up seeded teams in the group, but when you lose your first game by that much, this one feels like a big one for them. So perhaps a more important game for them to try and, if they're going to go all out in a game, this might be the one to push for it. So they're not going to go down without a fight, but let's get the disc right in front of the end zone now. And bit of patience here, and I think they can slot it in, because they do look good at times when they have it, but sometimes they just rush a little, and that one's not rushed, and they get this one. But a pick called. He did seem a little bit free.
Pick called, but I thought it was the solid gold defenders out of position, scrambling to try and catch up and find somebody that put themselves in a pickable situation. So they get the benefit of their disorganization there somehow.
Yeah, I think it's another player involved, possibly saying that maybe the pick didn't actually affect the last one, but looks like they're going to agree that it was enough, and see if they can keep their patience here again and slot it in again. And they can, and they do. Level. I believe it's 8-all now.
Yeah. Eva Bambula Dida, the Polish sensation, puts that one in. Co-captain of Troubles. Her sporting hero, one of my sporting heroes too, Cree Howard from Fury. And catching goals, doing just the same as Cree Howard's got done over the years in her career.
Yeah, and I can't imagine there's going to be a ton of time left in this one, so I feel this is maybe the time both these teams are going to start pushing a little bit.
Theoretically, we should have about 3 minutes till time cap goes. This one started at 11:30.
Yeah.
So
yeah, both these teams doing a lot of talking between the points to make sure they get everything right. I feel like these points are taking, pauses between the points are maybe taking a little bit longer than they're supposed to take, but I don't think too many of the players are going to be too worried about that as the pull goes up. And again, Uncle John's band here with a chance. They're going to see if they can get a break chance here. It's been a while since they've had one. Well, actually it hasn't. They had one in the last point, but it's been a while since it felt like they were going to get one, and I feel like this late in the game, you'd imagine they're going to be really pushing hard to try and get that break opportunity. And solid goal, if they keep playing like this, though, aren't going to give them that opportunity. So huge point, obviously, and gets the block, much needed. And here we go, they have a chance in the other team's half. you can be sure they can reach the end zone if they just get the right opportunity for it. Some massive grabs, working it really well here. You feel like this could be the spot where the shot's going to come, and just intercepted by the defender. I like they look good working it there, but I think they just need to take that shot. Throwing too many passes, although every one of those passes looked really good, so I'm not going to say that it's not that hard to score to the end, reach the end zone with a throw, but solid goal going back the other way now. And a drop and another chance, and I'm starting to get the feeling Uncle John's band are going to pull it off eventually.
Yeah, there's a shift in momentum here, it seems. And the biggest shift will come when somebody does score in that end zone to the right. And you're right, I'm getting the same feeling, Doc, that Uncle John's band may well be putting it together here.
This could be it coming here on this. The timeout spike. I think teams only get one timeout per game though, so he's going to be coming back in with that one. But I don't know if swag is the right way there, but the old over the head timeout call, drop it on the guy behind you when maybe not the best time for the timeout.
No, I dislike it completely. Do not like the timeout one bit. I don't like an in-game timeout at all, but certainly, like, you know, you've done so much work to put yourself in a great position to score. Like, you're not going to make it better by letting the defense set up.
Yeah, and they didn't really look like they were struggling. They had that one turn where it maybe forced a bit of, not forced an inside throw, but the defender just read it a bit well, and at least they got the first pass off after it. So let's see here though. This is a pretty big point. Could be a very big point in this group later, and if Uncle John's band can get a win here, because it would be a pretty significant win against a team that's already had a dominating win in their group, and just unable to get it to rise up enough. He just needed to get a little bit lower on that.
But Dainhart really taking it upon himself there, trying to fire the strike.
And I think if you're the solid goal team here, you don't necessarily just think, oh, we should just put it deep there, because you've seen Uncle John's band looked very confident on offense there. So I wouldn't be so confident of playing the possession game based on field position now. But I mean, I wouldn't be just the field position game. I think it is a possession game you want to play now, and just take what you think are the good options. But some nice grabs and some snappy throws. A lot of these catches look like they're caught between thumbs and index fingers. Shoots it, and player's able to just hold on to it, and it feels like a tough one if you're Uncle John's band there. That was such a great opportunity to score a massive point, and unable, they missed their opportunities, and again hands on the knees again, and I think by both teams, even solid goal there. I feel like they should be a little bit happier to have scored that point, but it's been a competitive game, and it's been a tough one. So I think a lot of these players just tired. It's just straight up factor. And I think Cap is on now. I believe
that makes a universe.
I think Solid up by one. I believe
sorry,
so.
I did. The scoreboard wasn't changed, so it is a Cap +1. Game to 8.
7-6. Uncle John's band. If they can, I feel like after that last point, I'd almost fancy their chances if they can score this one. But as we can see, the solid G line here. Not quite sure what's going on. Maybe they want to extend this pause between the points, or maybe unsure if now is the time to try and go for the break to win, or to just say, hey, our O-line will score. But I'm going to imagine, based on one or two of the players walking on, that this is power line to try and win it.
This is definitely a power line.
And then go probably with the same line again in the next point. So go out here, have 2 opportunities to win. And
yeah, with Lumley, Siebert, Lowen, Wavrock, and I think that's Rose Carlton. They definitely have their strongest 5 out there. And they're not going to be able to chase that pull as it goes sailing away.
Gives you an idea of the wind we're dealing with again. I always, some people, whenever I, with the girlfriend and we're here doing some stuff, I often get told, you mentioned the wind too much, but such a big factor when you're at home watching that I think people don't always realise.
Yeah, just to correct myself, it's Sharon Watt out there, not Rose Carlton, as the 5th member of this gold line. Who? As centimeters from a hand block.
Another stoppage here. I'm not sure what it was. I'm invested in the game there. I almost forgot I was doing the commentary. Oh, it looks like it's going to be just tight defense for this point from Solid Gold. Shoots it up deep. It looks good, and it is. And we're going to go to Universe. That's such a nice throw. It made that look very easy. That was not an easy throw.
Melissa Iwasako sends that throw. Beautiful throw. You're absolutely right. The 59-year-old with 38 years playing experience, living out of Falls Church. That throw was incredible, but this bio is even more incredible. Anthony Iwasako taught her the game and the skills. School, played out of the University of Delaware. Philly Peppers, Zephyrs, Renegade for club shoutouts.
You know when your national team experience is just filled in by too many, that you have a lot of it, that you can't even name the big ones because there's maybe too many of those also. But Universe point here, I thought it on the last one, it looked like Uncle John's band might get it done, but let's see if they can get it here now. They get the roller pull, which works out. It's a decent enough position. Thought maybe that the player was going to miss it, but Solid Gold here now with a chance to, going to get the first chance, and that one was low, but just held up. And oh, another nice high release throw there into the space, and Solid G just happy to work it now so far. They do look confident when they do this. And then spoke too soon as it's just thrown. And Uncle John's band, toughest part of the field, but at least they've got their chance. Disc floats over everyone. Going to give Solid G another chance here now. I've noticed on their jerseys it's SO old, they also call themselves, so maybe they need to capitalize the O in the solid also, but they'll be saying, so what if they score this one?
Well, I think it's so old. Instead of sold on the fake.
Another chance, and the wind has really picked up now. As much as I'm almost rooting for him, and again the turn there doesn't help, it's such an uphill battle from this position, and one-on-one in the end zone, it's going to be tough to defend it, and Solid Goal get the job done. They slotted in on Universe, and a nice win for them to, we'll say, hold on and take it, but Uncle John's band showing that maybe that first game was maybe just figuring out, like it might be for a lot of these teams, a much better performance here, and if they can keep this up, they'll cause some problems for the team and their group.
Well, for Uncle John's band, a page out of the lyric of the song: the first days are the hardest days, don't you worry anymore, because when life looks like easy street, there'll be danger at your door. And well, I guess the danger did come there in the end. It was taken away by Solid Gold, but unconvincingly, like as far as the score lines before, I thought that was a great game. The wind being the almighty equalizer certainly played its part and did as much, and a game goes to Universe. Uncle John's band fall a day late and $1 short, and Solid Gold stay undefeated.
Yeah, and I believe everyone here now is going to be pretty happy to get to go on a nice little lunch break now, and we'll be back in I'll call it 2 rounds, but a lunch break now, and then we're going to be back with 3 more games to finish the day. So we've one group that we haven't had on the stream yet, but we're going to have them up next. And yeah, if any of the rest of the games are like this one, we've got some nice games to look forward to the rest of the day, so make sure to come back and join us for the rest of the day's action here in Sardinia, and we will see you again shortly.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV.